Wat Prachakom Wanaram, the Citizens' Forest Temple, also known as Wat Pakung or the Kung Forest Temple, is a Buddhist temple located in Roi Et, a Thai northeastern province whose name means 101. It was originally an abandoned temple dating back to 1770 AD and was revived in 1953 by Phra Thep Wisut Mongkhon, a revered meditation master who led the faithful in re-establishing the temple. In 2007, in honor of his 90th birthday, following 6 decades of dedicated service to the Dharma, the monk's disciples united to construct a sandstone pagoda at the temple. The monk, who is also known as Luang Poo Sri Maha Wihroh, once visited the Borobudur temple in Indonesia, and the design of the new and first ever sandstone pagoda in Thailand was directly inspired by the architectural grandeur of Borobudur. We spot a vendor offering kanampang boran ice cream, an unusual take on this frozen dessert that features scoops of ice cream served in a hot dog-style bun, drizzled with sweetened condensed milk, and finished with a sprinkle of roasted peanuts. Dom buys one before we set off to explore the temple. The temple complex features 2 main highlights: Shedi Hin, a stone pagoda inspired by the design of Borobudur, and Salayari, a mondop or mandapa, situated at the center of a vast pond. We choose to visit Shedi Hin first and follow the path that guides us to its entrance gate. Just outside, a rooster catches our attention, and we offer it a few pieces of bread from Dom's ice cream bun. Despite it being the weekend, there aren't many visitors around, giving us the perfect opportunity to explore this monumental structure at a leisurely pace, undisturbed. The staircase is flanked by several guardian animals, an elephant, a lion, and a crocodile, each carrying symbolic significance in Buddhism. The elephant, often linked to the Buddha's birth, represents strength, wisdom, and mindfulness. The lion, known as the protector of the Dharma, symbolizes courage, while the crocodile may represent a makara, a mythical aquatic creature that symbolizes water and abundance, and serves as the vehicle of both the goddess Ganga and the god Varuna. The exterior walls are adorned with intricate bas-relief carvings in yellow sandstone. On the ground level, they showcase scenes from the Vessantara Jataka. This Jataka tale narrates the story of Vessantara, the previous incarnation of the Buddha, who is celebrated for his immense generosity and compassion. The tale details his willingness to give away everything he possesses, including his royal status, wealth, and even his children, in the name of selflessness and charity. The Vessantara Jataka emphasizes the virtues of generosity and the moral importance of helping others, making it a significant theme in Buddhist teachings. We began at the bas-relief carvings on the northern section of the eastern wall and continued our journey clockwise, reminiscent of a pradakshina, the clockwise procession around a stupa or temple performed by worshippers. This practice involves circling the main sanctuary of a temple 3 times while holding candles or other offerings. We are now at the southern flank of the pagoda. Here are more depictions of scenes from the same Jataka, which in Thai is known as Wetsandornchadok. It is the 10th and final incarnation of the Bodhisattva, in which he was born as the son of King Sanjaya and Queen Pusati, who ruled over the kingdom of Sivi. From an early age the prince took great pleasure in giving things away. At one point, he gifted a sacred white elephant, known for its ability to bring rain, to some Brahmins from a neighboring kingdom. However, this act resulted in a severe drought in his own kingdom. The king's subjects grew furious and demanded that the prince be exiled. Yielding to their demands, the king banished Wetsandorn and Madi, along with their children, into exile. They left the palace in a royal carriage, which they later gave away to a group of Brahmins along the way. Eventually, they arrived on foot in the Himaphan forest, where they lived as ascetics. Not long after, a Brahmin named Jujaka visited their ashram, seeking to take Jali and Kanya as slaves to assist his wife. When Madi went into the forest to gather fruit, Jujaka seized the opportunity to introduce himself to Wetsandorn. Upon hearing the Brahmin's request, the children tried to hide among the lotus leaves in a nearby pond. However, moved by Jujaka's story, Wetsandorn called them out and reluctantly gave them to the Brahmin. In a sudden change of heart, Wetsandorn proposed exchanging the children for a ransom, a plan he later shared with his father, King Sanjaya. Ultimately, the king and queen visited Wetsandorn in their forest refuge and brought him and his family back to rule over Sivi. The bas-relief also features some Kinaris, celestial beings represented as half-woman, half-bird figures that inhabit the mystical Himaphan forest. This section of the bas-relief depicts Madi's disturbing dream before Jujaka's arrival, in which a man cut out her eyes, severed her arms, and ripped out her heart. When she asked Prince Vessantara about its meaning, he, knowing it foretold someone would come to ask for their children that day, lied and reassured her it meant nothing. While the staircase at the western front entrance is flanked by various animal sentinels, the stairs at the other three directions are guarded by just a pair of Khmer-style lions. At the center of the archway above each staircase, there is a mask-like creature known as Kirtimukha. This figure is depicted with round, bulbous eyes and a wide mouth filled with teeth, yet it lacks a lower jaw. Also referred to as a Kala face, it serves an apotropaic purpose, designed to ward off evil and protect the faithful. The abutments, which support the arch from below at the base of the piers, are adorned with a Javanese-style Makara head, featuring a large jaw and an elephant's trunk. The square base of the pagoda measures 101 meters in both width and length, symbolizing Roi Roi Et, the province's name, which translates to 101. Each of the four corners of the pagoda is elegantly indented, while the four balcony-like levels are enclosed by walls adorned with Buddha statues and miniature bell-shaped stupas. The grey andesite-like stone Buddha statues are set in arched niches, which are adorned at the top center with a Kala face flanked by Javanese-style Makara heads. We have now reached the northern wall. Here, the reliefs feature various animals from Himaphan forest, along with Vishnupong, a sacred white elephant created by Vishnu, known for its ability to bring rain, fertility, and ensure victory over enemies. We have returned to the western wall, completing a full circle. From here, we ascend the staircase to the next level, where we are greeted by a white statue of Sri Maha Wihroh, the revered monk in whose honor this sandstone pagoda was built. The bas-reliefs at this level depict key episodes from the life of the Buddha, starting with his mother's prenatal dream, followed by his birth, enlightenment, first sermon, and concluding with his death and transition into nirvana. This scene portrays the subinimate or visionary dream of Maha, mother of Prince Siddhartha and the future Buddha, in which a white elephant from the Himaphan forest touched her side, announcing the impending birth of the Buddha. Maha, whose name means great illusion, was the wife of King Suddhodana, ruler of the kingdom of the Sakyas, named Kapilavastu, in present-day Nepal. Shortly after her visionary dream, Maha became pregnant, and the Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha beneath a sala tree in Lumbini, shown here with her holding a branch. Immediately after his birth, the newborn prince took 7 steps, and at each step, a lotus blossomed. The final section of this relief depicts Siddhartha's first miracle, in which the newborn prince positioned himself atop the turban of a sitta, a hermit. From above, the terracotta guardian lions, or sing, at ground level, somewhat resemble sphinxes. At each level of the staircases, arched gateways are prominently featured. At the base of these gateways, beneath the Java-style Makara heads, intricate bas-reliefs depict yaksha, giant sentinels who serve as protectors, guarding the sacred space. At the top sits a slab featuring a figure gracefully posed on a lotus base, holding a lotus flower. Next, we see the Bodhisattva, at age 7, meditating under a tree during the ploughing ceremony. As his father performed this ancient Brahmin rite marking the onset of the rice planting season, Siddhartha witnessed the suffering of a worm accidentally cut in two by the plowshare. This profound experience, along with 4 significant encounters, a sick person, an aged man, a dead body, and an ascetic, ignited his quest to eliminate suffering in the world. It revealed the realities of life and death, deepening his resolve to seek enlightenment. This scene depicts the wedding ceremony of Prince Siddhartha and Princess Yasodhara, officiated by Brahma, who is holding a sacred water flask used to anoint the couple. It marks a significant moment in Siddhartha's life before he embarked on his profound spiritual journey toward enlightenment. Around the corner, as we continue the circumambulation of this floor, we encounter a poignant depiction of the great departure, the silent and sorrowful farewell of Prince Siddhartha to his wife, infant son, and royal heritage. This moment, when Siddhartha, at the age of 29, left behind his family and renounced his royal life to become an ascetic, marks the beginning of his quest to uncover the cause of human suffering and seek enlightenment. Prince Siddhartha, without waking his wife and son, takes a final, silent look at them before leaving to begin his religious journey. During the great departure, he is accompanied by his servant Chandaka and his beloved snow-white horse, Kanthaka. After Kanthaka carried the prince away from the palace, Siddhartha cut off his long hair as a symbol of renouncing his secular life and parted ways with his servant Chandaka, while the horse died of sorrow. Following Mahavira's teachings, Siddhartha became an ascetic and practiced extreme self-denial for 6 years near Uruvela, nearly starving himself to death on just 1 grain of rice per day, thus aiming to subdue his mortal desires. In this episode, Siddhartha is depicted with a beard, seated in meditation with a thin, emaciated body. After Suchada offered him a bowl of porridge, which ended his fast, he realized that a middle path exists between austerity and worldliness. Siddhartha then went to meditate under a fig tree, facing Mara, the evil one, who sent seductive dancing maidens to distract him. The goddess Thorani intervened, washing away Mara's illusions, allowing him to regain focus and gain enlightenment. Mara, the god of desire and death, also tried to distract Siddhartha with various other temptations. However, the earth goddess Thorani wrung water from her hair, washing away Mara and his demon army, thus allowing Siddhartha to become a Buddha. This moment, when Siddhartha Gautama, seated under the Bodhi tree, triumphs over the temptations and challenges posed by Mara, the demon of desire, death and illusion, is known as Mara Vijaya, or the victory over Mara, and led to his enlightenment. Beneath the statue of Luang Poo Sri Wihroh, a staircase leads to a vault-like hall split into 2 floors, the lower dedicated to his life and legacy, and the upper containing relics and adorned with murals depicting scenes from paradise and hell. At the rear of this floor are altars with some gilded Buddha statues and portraits of Luang Poo Sri Wihroh. The upper section of the walls also feature sandstone bas-reliefs, illustrating the monk's life and contributions to his community. Individuals become monks for various reasons, including spiritual growth, cultural traditions, and personal circumstances. Many men ordain for a short period during the rainy season to honor their families, while young boys may join monasteries for education. Typically, men aged 20 and above can ordain, although some may do so younger. Monks adhere to strict rules, including celibacy and the monastic code or Vinaya. Young boys can also become novice monks, called samanen, preparing for potential full ordination later. In Thailand, the responsibility for ensuring adherence to monastic rules extends beyond the Buddhist community and includes local authorities, such as the Thai police. While the Sangha, the Buddhist monastic community, and abbots play a crucial role in upholding the Vinaya or monastic code, local law enforcement is also involved in maintaining discipline within the monasteries. A monk teacher, whose primary role is to educate lay students, novices, and fellow monks, is referred to as Phra Thep. This title derives from the Pali word guru, meaning teacher or mentor. We ascend to the next floor within the vault via a central staircase. At the center of this hall stands a wooden shuttlecock-shaped display cabinet, which contains various bell glass containers shaped like miniature stupas, each holding the bone relics of deceased monks, including those of Luang Poo Sri Wihroh and allegedly even of the Buddha himself. The hall also features gilded statues of this monk and others, along with various small and large Buddha statues. Additionally, there is a Butsabok, a small, elaborate pavilion throne, an open square structure with 4 posts supporting a tapering roof adorned with a spire, typically carved from wood and gilded. Here, the upper walls are also adorned with sandstone panels featuring bas-reliefs, primarily depicting Luang Poo Sri Wihroh performing monastic duties. Due to the dome-shaped structure of the hall, the lower sections of the side walls are set further back, requiring us to bend down to get closer. These walls are adorned with colorful tiles depicting scenes of heaven and hell. In Buddhism, heaven consists of various celestial realms, where beings experience temporary happiness due to good karma. Unlike eternal concepts in other religions, these realms are impermanent. Key levels include Tavatimsa heaven, the abode of the god Indra, known for its immense pleasure and beauty, Yama heaven, where inhabitants face the impermanence of joy, Tushita, or Dusit heaven, the realm of future Buddhas like Maitreya, characterized by peace and teachings, Nimanarati heaven, where beings can create their own fleeting pleasures, and Paranimitta Vasavati heaven, the highest realm of luxury and desire fulfillment. Access to these heavenly realms is based on good deeds and moral conduct, but the ultimate goal in Buddhism is to achieve enlightenment and liberation from samsara, the cycle of birth and rebirth. In Buddhism, Naraka, known in Thai as Narok, refers to the realm of hell, where beings experience intense suffering as a result of their negative karma. Unlike eternal hell concepts found in some religions, Naraka is not permanent. Beings are reborn here for a finite period based on their past actions. The realm is often depicted as a place of torment with various levels, each corresponding to different punishments. One of the primary levels is hot Naraka, characterized by extreme heat, where beings endure searing flames and intense suffering, often described as being boiled alive or burned, reflecting the consequences of actions rooted in hatred and anger. In contrast, cold Naraka subjects beings to freezing temperatures, where they may be trapped in ice or snow, suffering from the biting cold, symbolizing the effects of greed and ignorance. Avachi Naraka, known as the uninterrupted Naraka, is one of the most severe levels, where beings endure relentless suffering without respite, often through tortures such as being sliced or crushed, highlighting the dire consequences of particularly heinous actions. In Kumbhira Naraka, beings are tortured by being crushed or held down by heavy weights, representing the burdens of their negative deeds. In Rarava Naraka, beings suffer from unquenchable hunger and thirst, tormented by their unfulfilled desires, illustrating the pain that arises from attachment and craving. Tapetana Naraka subjects beings to flaying or being cut into pieces, emphasizing the suffering caused by violent actions and cruelty. Each level of Naraka serves as a reminder of the consequences of one's actions, promoting moral conduct and the avoidance of negative deeds. Ultimately, the goal in Buddhism is to transcend all realms of existence, including Naraka, by achieving enlightenment and liberation from samsara, the cycle of birth and rebirth. After serving their time in Naraka, beings are reborn into other realms, where they can accumulate positive karma and pursue spiritual growth. As we leave the hall with its rather graphic images, we notice two Chinese porcelain vases depicting the 8 immortals from Mahayana Buddhism, which differs from Thailand's Theravada Buddhism by emphasizing the bodhisattva ideal, where enlightened beings postpone their own nirvana to assist others in achieving enlightenment. The 8 immortals are legendary figures in Chinese folklore celebrated for their wisdom and powers. They embody various virtues and human qualities, reflecting the ideals of wisdom, compassion, and the pursuit of immortality. Their stories are woven into the fabric of both Buddhist and Taoist traditions. Back outside, we walk towards the northern staircase to ascend to the next terrace of the pagoda. Whereas the previous floor featured bas-reliefs depicting scenes from the life of the Buddha prior to his enlightenment, this level showcases sandstone reliefs illustrating events that occurred afterward. Following his enlightenment at the age of 35, the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, lived for approximately 45 years, teaching and spreading his teachings until he passed away at the age of 80, entering a state known as parinirvana. During these years, he traveled extensively throughout the Indian subcontinent, sharing his insights and establishing a community of followers. We are now back on the western side, and from behind the white statue of Luang Poo Sri Maha Wihroh, we can see other visitors arriving through the front gate. To the left of the central staircase is a bas-relief depicting the Buddha with the Panjawaki, the first 5 disciples who became followers of Siddhartha Gautama after his enlightenment. These disciples played a crucial role in forming the early Buddhist community. They include Kondana, the first to understand the Buddha's teachings and attain enlightenment, Badya, known for his noble qualities, Vapa, another early disciple, Mahanama, recognized for his wisdom, and Asaji, celebrated for his calm demeanor and deep understanding of the Dharma. Together, they were instrumental in spreading the Buddha's teachings and establishing the early monastic community known as the Sangha, which represents the foundation of Buddhist practice and emphasizes the importance of community in the pursuit of enlightenment. This depiction illustrates Angulimala, the wayward son of a Brahmin who fell into the service of a malevolent master. He became a notorious bandit, known for wearing a necklace made of severed fingers. However, his life took a transformative turn when he encountered the Buddha in the Paralayaka forest during the 11th year after the Buddha's enlightenment. Through the Buddha's teachings and compassion, Angulimala was converted, renouncing his violent ways and ultimately becoming a follower of the Dharma. In this scene, the Buddha encounters Uruvela Kassapa, one of 3 hermit brothers, along with Nodi Kassapa and Gaya Kassapa. Seeking refuge, the Buddha impresses Uruvela by overpowering a fierce serpent king in the fire shrine through meditation. Despite witnessing divine beings present during the Buddha's teachings, Uruvela remained skeptical, believing himself to be an arahant. However, when the Buddha reveals that Uruvela has not yet found the path to arahantship, the ascetic seeks ordination. The Kassapa brothers, along with their followers, discard their possessions and request ordination under the Buddha, leading to the formation of the early Sangha. In this bas-relief, the Buddha guides his younger half-brother, Prince Nanda, who was born on the day the Buddha renounced the world. Nanda was one of the Sakya princes who became a monk, though he initially struggled with attachment to worldly desires, particularly his fiancée, Janapada Galyani. Despite his reluctance, Nanda ordained out of respect for the Buddha. After ordination, Nanda's thoughts remained focused on his fiancée and the pleasures of household life. To help him overcome these attachments, the Buddha took Nanda to Tavatimsa heaven, where he showed him celestial nymphs, far more beautiful than Janapada Galyani. The Buddha promised that if Nanda practiced diligently, these nymphs could be his, motivating him to strive for spiritual progress. On the next floor, a relief shows the Prince of the Nagas, a multi-headed serpent, coiled around a termite mound, which he uses as a seat for meditation. According to Buddhist folklore, the Naga revered the Buddha and wished to be one of his disciples. However, as serpents are considered lowly beasts and forbidden from ordination, the Naga used magical powers to transform into human form and mingled among the disciples unnoticed. One day, while listening to sermons, the Naga fell asleep, breaking the spell and revealing its true form. The Buddha, upon learning of the Naga's desire to serve as a disciple, explained that while it could not be ordained, it could guard temples and temple doors. Since then, candidates for monkhood have been referred to as Nak or Naga, and serpent imagery is prominently featured in temples, often coiled around outer walls, roof edges, and stair railings. The snake-like patterns in temple architecture serve as reminders of the Naga's presence, and it is even said that monks and novices shave their heads to resemble the Naga's smooth, bald appearance. Here, we see a scene depicting an event that happened in Rajagaha, the capital of the kingdom of Magadha. Nalagiri, an elephant made drunk with toddy by the Buddha's jealous nephew Devadatta, was unleashed in order to kill the enlightened one during his alms round. The ferocious and intoxicated elephant rampaged through the streets, frightening the townspeople. Despite the chaos and Ananda's attempts to protect him, the Buddha calmly approached the charging elephant. He gently touched Nalagiri's forehead, calming the beast, which then knelt before him, demonstrating the power of compassion over aggression. Next, a depiction of the story of Jinkamanavika, an evil woman who falsely accused the Buddha of making her pregnant. After 8 to 9 months, she faked her pregnancy by tying a stick to her stomach and publicly slandered the Buddha. As a consequence of her deceit, she was ultimately swallowed by the earth and plunged into the Avachi hell. From here, we ascend the final set of stairs to the top floor of the pagoda, where a circular wall is adorned with iconographic images and victory mantras, represented by symbols of Buddhism such as the Dhammacakka, Bodhi tree, and lotus flower. The presence of deer imagery in Buddhist art symbolizes the Buddha's first sermon, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, delivered at a deer park in Sarnath. This imagery represents the peaceful teachings of the Buddha and the beginning of the Dharma's dissemination. Deer symbolize non-violence and compassion, aligning with core Buddhist values. At the center stands a dome-shaped stupa crowned with a golden spire weighing 101 baht, symbolizing Roi Et, which means 101, equating to approximately 1.52 kilograms of pure gold. Surrounding the main stupa are 8 perforated, bell-shaped subsidiary stupas, each positioned at the corners of the octagonal structure, representing the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. The Wheel of Law symbolizes the ongoing cycle of cause and effect in life, known as karma, leading to perpetual reincarnation, which can only be broken by reaching nirvana. Its turning also represents the endless spread of the Buddha's teachings, with the 8 spokes symbolizing the Eightfold Path. Additionally, the Dhammacakka embodies a classic mandala form, radiating its inner truth outward in all directions. Furthermore, the very design of the circular wall on the top floor resembles a wheel, reflecting the concept of the Dharma wheel. The perforated stupas, modeled after those at Borobudur, feature hollow structures with openings that invite light and air, fostering a sense of transparency and enriching the spiritual atmosphere of the temple. Each perforated stupa represents a level of enlightenment. The emptiness within signifies the concept of reaching spiritual fulfillment and the attainment of nirvana. Additionally, the openings symbolize the connection between the material and spiritual realms. The sandstone pagoda of Wat Pakung embodies profound spiritual significance, representing the path to enlightenment within Buddhist cosmology. Its design is seen as a manifestation of the universe, guiding visitors from the material world at its base to the state of nirvana at its pinnacle. Each layer of the pagoda symbolizes different stages of spiritual development, inviting pilgrims to reflect on their own journeys toward self-discovery and higher consciousness. The numerous images along the ascent are designed to encourage visitors to reflect on their own life journeys. As for us, while we covered many aspects of what we observed, our report remains incomplete. It is nearly impossible to provide a thorough and detailed description of all the bas-reliefs and iconography on this pagoda in a brief video. Additionally, we noted recurring scenes and iconography, which we addressed only once. Nonetheless, we hope to have illuminated some of the more obscure and enigmatic facets of a religion rich in myth and legend. Now, let's uncover the remaining marvels of this expansive complex. Walking back through the gate we entered, I find Dom sitting on a bench beneath a tree adorned with aerial roots. He looks up and excitedly tells me about a nearby pond where he spotted a giant softshell turtle. However, when we make our way over, we can only see fish swimming in the water. The turtle has disappeared. We see several visitors carrying bread and fish food purchased at the temple's main entrance. The rooster we fed some bread earlier is eagerly chasing after them, anticipating a few crumbs. We decide to get some food ourselves. As I walk toward the next attraction, the mondapa in the water, Dom goes to buy fish food and fetch the car, so we won't have to walk the long road back. Whereas Thai monks wear distinctive robes, traditionally dyed in shades of saffron, ochre, or brown, depending on the specific monastic order and region. During religious occasions and meditation retreats at temples, Buddhist laypeople in Thailand typically wear white clothing as a sign of purity, devotion, and simplicity. It symbolizes spiritual mindfulness, renunciation of worldly pleasures, and reflects non-attachment and virtuous living in line with Buddhist values. Dom arrives by car, armed with fish food and bread. We head over to the pond to feed the fish, other possible aquatic creatures, and any birds nearby. To our surprise, we even spot a few peacocks. These are green peafowl, native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, including Thailand, where they are the largest of all birds. Although rarely seen in the wild, we spot quite a few here. Spotting us feeding the fish and birds, chickens and roosters now also come over to pick up a few crumbs. The mondop, or mandapa, a significant architectural feature in Thai Buddhist temples, is here built on a platform on stilts in the middle of the water reservoir. It features a gilded lotus bud-shaped spire resembling a stupa. A mondop serves various purposes, including housing sacred relics, images of Buddha, or important scriptures. Additionally, it acts as a space for worship and contemplation and may also be used for ceremonies or meditation, as we will witness later on. Male green peacocks are particularly known for their iridescent green and blue plumage, featuring long tail feathers that can reach up to 150 centimeters in length and are adorned with eye-like patterns called ocelli. Dotted along the edges of the lake are salas, open pavilions commonly found in Thai and Southeast Asian temple complexes. These structures feature a simple design with a raised platform and a roof supported by columns, allowing for ventilation and providing shelter from the elements while offering unobstructed views. Salas serve multiple purposes. They act as gathering places, resting areas for visitors, and teaching spaces for monks to share Buddhist teachings. A white lotus, surrounded by numerous nagas that float on the water like a giant lotus leaf, represent mythical serpents that serve as guardians of the Buddha and protectors of earthly waters. Thematic lampposts designed as golden swans, known as supanahong, symbolize a sacred bird. In Hinduism, the swan serves as the vehicle of the god Brahma, while in Buddhism, it represents an earlier incarnation of the Buddha, who governed a flock of 96,000 swans during that lifetime. Green peafowl, known by the binomial name Pavo muticus, are closely related to the Indian blue peafowl. Unlike the latter, both sexes of the green peafowl share similar appearances, making it difficult to distinguish the male from the female. They display striking green and bronze or gold plumage, with black wings that exhibit a blue sheen. Although the green peahen resembles the male, she has shorter upper tail coverts, a more coppery neck, and less iridescence overall. Notably, both males and females possess spurs. Green peafowl are omnivorous, feeding on a variety of foods, including seeds, fruits, insects, small mammals, and reptiles. Unlike the more common Indian peafowl, they are more secretive and prefer to stay in dense vegetation, often foraging on the forest floor. Their vocalizations are distinct, with males producing loud calls during the breeding season. In Thailand, monks are not permitted to drive themselves and must rely on others for transportation. Senior monks or abbots often have a fleet of vehicles at their disposal, which frequently includes luxury brands. Among these are Mercedes-Benzes, as seen in this fleet of decommissioned cars, with one even featuring a light beige exterior, a color typically associated with royal cars. Green peafowl are known to be polygamous, with males courting multiple females. They build nests on the ground, where they typically lay about 3 to 6 eggs that hatch after approximately 28 days. Culturally, these birds symbolize beauty and grace in various traditions and are often depicted in art and folklore. The sun is beginning to set as we reach the furthest point, the stilted building at the back of the pond. From here, we will make our way back to our car on the opposite side of the lake. Commonly regarded as a pot plant, the Sansevieria thrives in the wild in Thailand and is often found as an ornamental garden plant. Meanwhile, white-dressed practitioners are arriving at the Mondok platform for evening meditation. The golden birdwing, scientifically known as Troidus aecus, is a butterfly with a wingspan that can reach up to 6 inches. It features a yellow body adorned with black spots, while its head and thorax are black with red markings. It flutters gracefully, showcasing its strikingly vibrant yellow and black wings as it dances through the air, using its long proboscis to sip nectar from these fragrant sari flowers. We have reached the southern side of the pond, which is lined with both sala pavilions and small stupas. From here, we have a good view of the evening meditation taking place on the platform. Meditation, often practiced in groups, is a fundamental practice in Buddhism that focuses on cultivating mindfulness, concentration, and insight for spiritual growth and enlightenment. It includes 2 main types: samatha, or calmness meditation, which develops concentration, and vipassana, or insight meditation, which seeks to understand the nature of reality. Mindfulness encourages practitioners to observe thoughts and sensations without attachment. In a semicircle around a Bodhi tree are 9 golden luknimit, round boundary stones marking a consecrated area within the temple complex.